Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well. Summer is ending rapidly, and as you get ready for the school year, I'm hoping in this video to answer any questions you may have about supplies, especially coming in on Friday for open house, knowing how to organize, where you're going to be putting certain things, and what those things are going to be used for throughout the school year. One of the first things that was on the supply list were pencils. Now, in getting a head start for Friday, one thing you will want to do is put your child's name on all of their supplies. Now, I will tell you in this video, we do not have any duplicate names except Micah. So, Micah Averett, Micah Streetman Henriquez, you need to put just an initial. That way we can differentiate between the two. Everybody else, you're clear to just put your first name. Now, you don't have to put your name on all crayons, all colored pencils, but I would recommend putting them on writing pencils. So one of the other supplies that was on the list was a pencil box. Now, some people will use this. I actually recommend using more of a bin or a box. And the reason being because you can fit more things inside that box. So not only will they keep their pencils there, but they can keep colored pencils, they can keep their pencil sharpener and their erasers in there as well. With the pencil sharpener, I ask that it just has a container to catch all the pencil shavings. So as long as they've got something like this, they're gonna be using my pencil sharpener 95% of the time. It's electric, it works well. This will be 5% of the time whenever they're at their desk and they can't leave their seat. They might be working on a test or some kind of other project. And so this will come in handy occasionally for them. So as long as it's catching the pencil shavings and they're not going in their desk, then they're all good to go. Also, with using the pencil box, again, it limits the things they have in their desk because second graders can take just 3 items and somehow make it look like a tornado exploded in their desk with just 3 items. It's really miraculous. So the fewer things they have just scattered everywhere, the better off they'll be, the easier it will be for them to find things if they need to grab something quickly. You did have folders on that supply list as well. So talking about folders, they each have a specific purpose. When you come into the classroom and you're unpacking your child's supplies, put the folders inside their desk. One of the folders is going to have prongs. I collect this and I turn this into a creative writing / journal that they're going to be using after Christmas. So you're not going to see this right away, and I'm actually going to be creating that for them, and they'll be using it in the classroom and they'll be writing. There will be times they'll take it home so you can read the funny stories that they write and their journal entries. But this will be something we use for that purpose. This other folder does not have prongs, and you'll be seeing this often. So this folder is actually going to stay in their desk. So maybe you won't see it as often as I initially said, but it's going to stay in their desk, and the reason being it keeps their seatwork folder or their seatwork papers organized. So they're going to have one side when they come in the morning, they're going to grab their papers for the day, and they're going to put it on one side of their folder. As we complete them throughout the day, they shift it to a side that's going to be designated as the take-home side of their folder. At the end of the day, when we're packing up to go home, they'll take their papers that are completed and they're going to put them in this folder. Now, this folder looks familiar because it is technically the Friday folder. Last year, because of COVID, we used this folder every day, and it actually stayed in their backpack and it worked very well. So with the other folders, I recommend plastic just because they're going to be moving it in and out, and paper tends to rip easier. They only need to bring in 1 prong and 1 regular folder. All the extras you can keep at home. If it rips, if it tears, I will write a note, or I'll have them write a note in their planner, and you're going to be checking their planner every night to sign for homework. So you'll see that they need another folder. You can pull it, put it in their backpack, they're ready to go. Same thing with pencils. Rather than having 4,022 pencils in their desk where they're only going to use 1 a day, only keep 8 in that box, and whenever it gets down to a nub and they can't write with it anymore, they can throw that away, and then they can also write in the planner they need more pencils, and you can restock their supply. That way, again, it's just not cluttered. We don't have a lot of extra things that we're having to sort through. So if you could help me out with that, that would be huge. And that way, again, they stay organized throughout the year, and we keep track of what we have and what we need to get. This folder is going to stay in their backpack. So this folder is actually going to be on their desk when you come in on Friday. And it does have a card that's going to have my name, my phone number, and my email, all of which you might already have. So again, just reinforcement for you there. It's also going to have papers inside, an allergy form and a help me get to know your child form. It's easiest to just fill it out on Friday, and then I'll have a box that you can put them in, or you could take them home and then have your child bring them on the first day of school. But those will be there for you to grab. And then this folder is going to be the main transport between the papers they've completed every day and you. So there are two sides. There's a keep at home side and there's a return to school side. They're going to be taking their seat work papers, and they're always at the end of the day going to put them at the keep at home side. You, as part of their homework, pull these papers and you can be looking at their penmanship. Complimenting their penmanship and noticing improvement does wonders for their motivation in and out of the classroom. So I would highly recommend you take those papers and you look at them. You can also see what we learned that day, and if they had any struggles. I'll be marking their papers so you can see, oh, hey, we did not know our addition and subtraction very well today. Hey, we didn't know our multiplication or how to read that clock, and you can continue to practice with them at home as well. On the supply list, it says to get 3x5 cards and an index card container. The reason I don't have that on my personal supply list is because that would be an added resource if necessary. So I don't require every student to have it, but if we notice, second quarter, third quarter, they're falling behind in their combinations, then I would reach out to you and say, hey, we're struggling with the 13 subtraction family. Let's make some flashcards, and that way you have them at home and you can practice with your child at home. But again, that would just be as an as needed basis. It's not going to be required. Last year, my philosophy is if I'm doing my job as the teacher correctly, very minimal extra work will need to be done at home. So that is my goal as the teacher, and I want you to know my heart on that. If I'm doing my job and I'm educating them correctly in a way that they can understand, I'm hoping that not many will need to do that. And last year my class had great success with that. So again, I wouldn't even bother bringing them to the classroom. That will be, in the future if necessary. So we've got this, again, their papers inside so you know what they're learning. You can be practicing with them at home. And then you're gonna take the papers out. So every day this is coming home to you and you're emptying it out. Every day it's coming home and you're emptying out. If your child is successful and they're not struggling and you're noticing that they're doing really well, you don't have to keep the papers. You can throw the papers away, you can recycle them. You don't need to keep them, but it's just, again, so that you can kind of see where they're at, and if they're good to go, then you don't need to keep them. I am not a pack rat, so I throw those kinds of things away, and you might be the same. So you do not need to save them. You will not be using them for anything in the future, just for extra practice. So this folder will be in their backpack. On Friday, it is going to have the regular Friday folder items. So those will be a little special on Friday, but this is still going to be in their backpack every day to be emptied out every day. I did have some students in the past that would put papers in and they would just stay there. And then before I knew it, they had a 6-chapter book in this Friday folder that they had never unloaded from their backpack. So just, again, an easier way to organize and to process all the papers that are going home, and this gem will do that for you. So that's going to be in their backpack. Something else that's going to be on their desk when you come in on Friday. There are going to be some books already there for them. These smaller books belong to the school, so you will not personally be taking this copy home with you at the end of the school year. When we read a book, when we are done, I collect it, I store it, and I pass out a new reading book. And we phase through these pretty quickly. The primary Bible reader is where we memorize verses. They come straight from the King James Version of the Bible. It's just more compact for them. And then there's also a handbook for reading, which we'll use in phonics. Again, all of these are going to have a number because they are not specifically for your child. However, there are 2 books that are. So we'll have our history book. We'll start with history. About second, third quarter, we'll switch to science, and then finishing the year, we'll finish with health. So all these activity books are yours personally. So they're gonna write their name on it. They're gonna be answering questions, doing activities in the book, and when we're done, they take it home with them. So this will be a personal copy for you, as well as the spelling and poetry book. So here, if I haven't lost you already, I'm gonna quickly go over how I'm gonna have them do homework, and I'm not gonna do it the first week of school. So this is gonna start on the Monday after the we don't have school on Monday the 9th. So that week we're not going to have spelling homework. It will be the next Monday. So really the first Monday is school, but not the first week of school, if that makes sense. So this spelling book, they're going to be completing sections. Again, it's yours. They're going to take it home at the end of the year. But in the back of this spelling book, there are homework lists that correlate with the list we're learning that week. For example, it's this section in the back. So on the first Monday, but of the second week of school, they're going to rip out list 1 on Monday, and you're going to see it in their Friday folder. And it's going to have this along with a piece of paper. They're going to write their list out, and then you keep this. But I need the actual list back. So they're going to turn in the written list to me so I know they've completed it. And then you will keep this printed list, and this is your test study guide. So you keep this, you magnetize it on the fridge, you keep it in their room, you pin it up somewhere, you keep it in the car, and you can study throughout the week so that they're ready for their test, which is always going to be on Friday. So this is their homework that they're going to be doing. That book is going to be on their desk, ready to go for you on Friday, and it will stay there. So that's most of the supplies. Again, I will have certain designated spots for you to put the extra glue, because I will store that. The extra crayons, and I'll put those away as well, and then the notebook paper. Just double check and make sure it's wide ruled notebook paper, and that's going to go on top of the piano when you get in the classroom. So I've got little stations set up so you can just drop and go, organize everything else you need in the desk. Again, you don't need to bring a backpack or lunchbox unless you're using the backpack to transport the supplies. And then any questions you have for me, I can answer on Friday as well. So all that being said, that's your little guide to all second grade supplies. If there's anything I missed or any questions you may have, please text me, please shoot me an email. I am a big texter, and so I'm hoping to start a group chat with all of the parent numbers, and that would be a quicker and easier way for us to communicate quickly if there is a group discussion that needs to be had. So if you see that there is a big group, it's probably the second grade class here. I use that as well to send pictures throughout the school year, because I love to involve you as much as possible. And I know with COVID that wasn't always easy last year, and this year there might be a little things here and there that we can do to get back to normal, but that will be just a form of us to all communicate and to see what's going on in the classroom, because again, learning is so fun. And I want you all to be a part of that, not just at home, but also to get snippets of what's happening in the classroom too. And I can't wait to meet you all on Friday and to start this school year together. It's going to be great and fun, and I'll see you then.